Time now is 8:45. Should Rupert Murdoch be allowed to take full control of Sky TV? That is the question facing the competition watchdog as it examines the proposed takeover of Sky by 21st Century Fox. Key to the decision will be whether Fox can be trusted to maintain broadcasting standards. Kelly Wright is a Fox News anchor and is currently suing the network for racial discrimination while still working there. He's going to speak today to the Competition and Markets Authority. He's also speaking at a meeting in Parliament, chaired by Ed Miliband, one of those who is opposing the Fox-Sky deal. He's here in the studio alongside his lawyer, Douglas Wigdor. Morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, Kelly, I mean, this curious situation you find yourself, I don't think less curious in your legal system in the United States. You're still on air with Fox News, but you are taking them to court because of what? The culture, you argue, exists in that company.
Well, I'm part of a class action lawsuit based on racial discrimination within the company. I would have to say from the onset it's a very painful decision to make. I was very reluctant in doing so. But some of my colleagues in departments lesser than mine, they were serving in roles behind the scenes. I shouldn't say lesser because to a greater degree they're responsible for our payroll.
But not on air.
But they were experiencing some blatant forms of racism. And I began to look at that and also look at my own situation that had been going on for a number of years in terms of marginalization of my career.
You're a black face on screen. There are very few on Fox News.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's interesting that you bring that up. Why in the 21st century do we have to even mention the fact that I'm a black face on air?
Well,
and one of the few.
It is relevant in this case.
It is.
Because you're arguing that black people, African Americans, are marginalized by the network.
Absolutely. And that's what I was experiencing and encountering, especially even going against my plea to say, can we do more? Because we're bigger and better than this. And we absolutely can reach out to more of a diverse population and get a better rating as well as even increase our profitability, which is already good.
Let me bring in your lawyer, Douglas Wigdor, alongside you. Even if people agree with Kelly, are critical of the network, they may say, well, that tells me a lot about the management of Fox News, but it tells us nothing at all about whether a company thousands of miles away should take over another company here in the UK. Or do you think it does?
Well, I think it does because what you see is a systemic problem of corporate governance, which has actually had a factor in their broadcasting standards in the U.S., which will probably spill over here to Sky if they're permitted to purchase Sky. I mean, for instance, just last week, I'm sure it's going on here with the Me Too campaign. On one of the big shows on Fox, they had a Fox correspondent who said that legitimate victims of sexual assault are few and far between, trying to undermine the whole movement. And that's just one of many examples of the sort of views that Fox continues to put out.
But we have a broadcasting regulator here who can regulate what is actually broadcast. Surely the question at issue here is whether their management culture makes them unfit. And Ofcom, the regulators, said in terms of the sexual harassment story that played so big at Fox News, that they had no clear evidence that senior executives at Fox were aware of misconduct before it was brought to their attentions, and therefore they would not judge them to be an improper owner for another network.
And you know, that testimony that you just cited to was actually given before the New York Times broke a story in October about exactly what really happened, because what really happened and what the facts now show is that in January, 21st Century Fox and Gerson Zweifach, who's the head lawyer at 21st Century Fox, were aware of settlements that were made on Bill O'Reilly's behalf, and they entered into a new contract with him and gave him a pay raise knowing that.
Bill O'Reilly's the news anchor who the allegations are against. Kelly Wright, do you think, passionate though you are about your cause, that it ought to be a warning to people in the UK?
Well, I think it needs to be a warning not only to people in the UK, but throughout the United States as well. We're at a point in our country where racial disparity and racial discrimination is being discussed. We still have this systemic issue of racism, not only in corporate America, but throughout other parts of America. And it's happening here in the UK as well. As we look at various things going on, we want to be mindful of the fact that we have to be respectful of people regardless of the color of their skin.
But the question I'd put to you is this. There are criticisms of my own organisation, the BBC, of course, were well known about its failure to deal with issues of sexual predators within the organisation. That doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't give an organisation more power. It'll have to be rather brief, if you would. Do you actually think that Britain should block the takeover of Sky News by Fox?
I think that's up to the UK. As for Fox, I think it's up to us to train better.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion, actually. I'm here to tell the facts and let the regulators do what they think is appropriate.
Douglas Wigdor, Kelly Wright, Fox News. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.